Recently on this channel, you guys have been absolutely loving all the ranking videos I've been putting out. Whether it's logos, rings, uniforms, and even helmets, it always seems to get a positive response. And now finally, due to popular request, we will be ranking all NFL stadiums from worst to best. I've seen this suggestion a lot and I've been wanting to do it as well. And with that being said, there are 30 NFL stadiums, 2 stadiums being shared between multiple teams. A small handful of the stadiums are utter garbage, but most of the NFL stadiums do a good job at staying clean and up to date. These rankings won't necessarily be based off of fan interaction, as I'm going to have a whole fan base ranking video as well, but mostly just off of the specific stadium itself, the overall appearance, the features, the amenities, and even the field. As always, make sure to comment your favorite stadiums below and any information that I might have missed, and also feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Before we get into this video, make sure to check out my channel. If you guys love sports, you will love my channel, as I cover all major sports, and I make sure my top video priorities are viewer recommended video ideas. So I'm really open to the community. I'm always in the comment section interacting with you guys, so you will absolutely not regret subscribing to the channel. But enough of me rambling, let's rank these 30 NFL stadiums from worst to best. Now, probably the easiest placement I've ever had to make. Coming in at last place, we have FedEx Field. Now, there really is absolutely no bright spot with the stadium. The appearance is horrid. It has the lowest capacity in the league with only 58,000, and there have been a multitude of safety-related incidents regarding the stadium, especially in recent years. Obviously, there's the collapsed railing that almost fell right on top of Jalen Hurts as he was entering the tunnel. There have been multiple sewage leaks leaking all over fans and seats, and overall, just the condition of the stadium is terrible. Clearly, with all of this, there are talks of a new stadium, as well as maybe relocating from DC, which I really hope happens eventually. Maybe not a relocation, but definitely a new stadium. But as of right now, it's a clear number 30. At number 29, we have the Buffalo Bills Highmark Stadium. Now, Bills fans, don't take this as any disrespect. You still have one of the best fan bases in football, but if we're talking strictly about the stadium, it does leave a lot to be desired. The facilities definitely could be worked on, and it really looks nothing more visually than a college stadium. With that being said, Bills fans, do not worry, as obviously you have your new stadium project being built right now in that same exact lot, and the concept art looks simply amazing, so I'm definitely going to make a remake of this video with all the new waves of stadiums coming in, and I can almost guarantee it's going to be a top 10 stadium. At 28, we have the Everbank Stadium. Now, this stadium is home of the Jaguars, and honestly, it is the most Florida stadium possible, and you'll see what I mean. Literally the main, features of the stadium is the pool that you can swim in while watching the game. There's plenty of cabanas around the stadium, and also kind of just a bar standing area right in the back of the end zone. This would be the perfect stadium for a Florida man. But with that being said, the actual stadium itself, besides those features, definitely needs an upgrade, and there will be an upgrade in the future, as seen by concept art, but as of right now, it still is bottom of the barrel for stadiums. And I still have no idea how the stadium was able to host a Super Bowl. At 27, we have the Cleveland Browns Stadium. This is the only stadium in the league currently that the name is based off of the team, literally just Cleveland Browns Stadium. And although it is sponsored by First Energy, there's a contract that states that it's not called First Energy Stadium, instead holding the name of Cleveland Browns Stadium. Now, getting away from the name of the stadium, the actual design isn't really that impressive. It just has your average run-of-the-mill stadium design. All the seats are bright orange, reflecting the Browns' colors, which doesn't look great, but once again, you kind of have to reflect the team here. But really, there's no other cool features besides the dog pound, which is the bleacher section right behind the end zone that has some of the most diehard Browns fans you'll see. I will say, Browns fans, you do an awesome job at filling up this kind of basic stadium and adding some great soul and energy into it, and make it really energetic during game day. At 26, we have Soldier Field. Home to the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field actually has a nice surrounding area filled with parks, museums, and it's even built on an old fort. So the architecture outside the stadium looks nice. But with that being said, I don't really think there's a stadium meant to be right over the old architecture. With that being said, the stadium itself has probably one of the most boring and bland designs you'll see. It pretty much is just all bowl seating. Obviously, this is one of the stadiums right now that has the most heat around it and most rumored to be destroyed soon, with the Bears relocation being imminent. So with all that considered, it takes the 26th spot. At 25, we have the Bank of America Stadium, home to the Carolina Panthers. Once again, just your average run-of-the-mill stadium design. I will say, although it is kind of run-of-the-mill, there are some nice things going for it here, as it is located almost in the heart of Charlotte. So while you're in the stadium, you can see surrounding buildings and the skyline. Not to mention, there's a bunch of Panther statues outside that look really nice, and the field is kept really nicely as well. At 24, we have Nissan Stadium, the home of the Titans. One of the stadiums that is confirmed to be moved on from, as we have the new concept art for the what looks to be beautiful Titans' new indoor stadium. Nissan Stadium honestly isn't that bad. Definitely in need of an upgrade, but with that being said, it's located in a nice area right along the river. The seating looks cool as it staggered different Titans colors. And there's also charms within the stadium. All the food vendors resemble little tiny houses, which I think is a really cool design. At 23, we have Acrisure Stadium, home to the Bengals. While the field does look nice, there really isn't much. I mean, the location, once again, located on the side of the river, which is pretty neat. But all the great atmosphere you get from the stadium is from those dedicated Bengals fans, and not necessarily anything that the stadium has to offer. At number 22, we have the home of the Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field. Now, once again, all of the atmosphere, loud noise, and just that energy that you get from the stadium is from the loyal and rowdy Philadelphia fans. The stadium, though, I will give its credit. It was made in 2003, but there are aspects of it that look more modern, such as the entrance, which is all glass. It's done really well. The canopies of the stadium are actually in the shape of wings to kind of reflect that Eagles theme. And it feels like a very open stadium as well. And you can see the inside of the stadium perfectly from driving by it on the highway, which I always like to do. At number 21, we have Arrowhead Stadium. Now, I know a lot of you guys will want this placement to be higher, but once again, let me reiterate that this is off of a stadium ranking. Obviously, the future fan base ranking is going to be much higher due to the record-setting noise that they managed to put out and the amazing atmosphere that Chiefs fans managed to deliver each game. But from a stadium perspective, it pretty much is just a bowl stadium. I will say, it does place this high due to the history behind it, as it's one of the oldest stadiums in the league, opened all the way back in 1972 and still holds up today, with really no need of renovation or the team moving out. Also, not to mention one of the higher stadium capacities at above 76,000. At number 20, we have Acrisure Stadium, Heinz Field. Now, I wish it still had that Heinz Field trademark, as they removed the iconic ketchup bottles, and the name doesn't roll off the tongue nearly as well. But I will say the stadium location is iconic. Although from an outside perspective, it looks like an older stadium with not that much to do, the interior is much nicer and feels more modern. I will say in past years, this would have ranked higher with the Heinz theme, and I definitely do think the Yinzers in this stadium absolutely carry the atmosphere here. It's still a solid stadium. At number 19, we have the Ravens M&T Bank Stadium. Now, for one of the stadiums featuring just that basic stadium design, this honestly is in the upper tier. It is kept very nicely. They've had renovations done to it as well, and I love the brickwork on the outside of the stadium. It looks nice and it gives kind of a classier feel. The field is always kept very nicely, and it has a very convenient location right in the heart of Baltimore. At number 18, we have the 49ers Levi Stadium. Now, this stadium has a lot of mixed reception, as it did replace the beloved Candlestick Park, but personally, I really enjoy it. Some common complaints include that it's kind of underwhelming considering it's built recently in 2014, there's always sun directly in the fans' eyes, and that it's located in Santa Clara, which can be a bit of a hike for some people outside of San Francisco. But in my opinion, I just really enjoy the overall look of the stadium. It features a very unique half-bowl design, and the other side of the stadium features all the luxury suites. And on the roof of those luxury suites is a rooftop garden which grows different crops year-round. So I really like the eco-friendly side of the stadium as well, and overall it just looks clean. I mean, it is something you would expect from a stadium built less than 10 years ago. At number 17, we have the MetLife Stadium, home of two teams, both the Giants and the Jets. This stadium is actually located not in New York, but New Jersey. Convenience-wise, yes, it is in a little tougher location, as it's a little bit outside of the city of New York, and it does share the same giant parking lot with the new American Dream Mall. With that being said, talking about the stadium itself, as it was only built in 2010, as you would expect, it is a very modern, clean stadium. It has the largest capacity in the league at 82,500, which is definitely something to boast about. The field, although it does cause a lot of injuries, is well maintained and looks clean, obviously being field turf. And I like the 4 giant jumbotrons on each corner of the stadium. The stadium itself doesn't deliver much character, but the Jets and Giants fans do. Not really anything too unique with the stadium, just puts up big numbers and looks clean in doing so. At number 16, we have the Empower Field at Mile High Stadium. Home to the Broncos, the name obviously meaning that this stadium is a mile high, and it actually provides a nice competitive advantage for the Broncos, as teams coming into the stadium usually aren't used to the lowered oxygen in the atmosphere. With that being said, talking about the stadium itself, it honestly is a nicer MetLife. It does feature that tall bowl shape and has a high capacity of 76,000, but in my opinion, the actual architecture is done nicer. The stadium shaping as well as the colors used pop out better, and there definitely is a little more character here. All around the stadium, it's just just a nice kind of plaza and park area. You have the Bronco statue. And even in the parking lot, there is some nice character as there's a miniature Mile High Stadium there. So once again, a nice looking stadium, but also with its share of character. At number 15, we are entering the upper half of stadiums, and coming in at number 15, we have Gillette Stadium. Now, originally last year, this would have been much lower on the list, maybe even bottom 5. They have had some crucial renovations made this past year. These renovations included a new 218-foot lighthouse, which provides a 360-degree view of the stadium, a 22,000 square foot outdoor video board, the largest outdoor video board in the world, as well as a new kind of modern glass-looking section that connect the east and west sides of the stadium. Look really nice, along with a new updated plaza and fan entrance. What originally was a below-average stadium has turned into one of the better outdoor stadiums we see today. At number 14, we have the home of the Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium. This stadium uses the same design as the Titans Nissan Stadium on how it's lower down and more open, and I just love how open this stadium feels. You can look in through it on all sides. It doesn't feel crammed or jammed in really any space here. And of course, it has the iconic pirate ship. Whenever the Buccaneers score, it fires blasts out of the cannons on the side of the ship, which look really cool. Definitely adds to the whole vibe of the area. And right next to the pirate ship is all the vendors that are actually once again designed with this kind of pirate style architecture, which is really well done. And it feels like a nice themed stadium, which makes sense because it actually was designed by Disney themselves. So shout out to the design team for taking what would be a bland stadium and turning it into a pretty cool stadium. At number 13, we have the historic, iconic Lambeau Field. Now, as much as I, and I'm sure you guys as well, would like to see this higher just due to its historic impact on football, I really can't put this above the top 12 because the top 12 is just so technologically advanced and architecturally incredible. There's no way that I could put a stadium that uses bleachers above any of them. But with that being said, I do like the old historic feel. And even though the bleachers aren't necessarily the most comfortable viewing position, it does contribute to the overall atmosphere and it feels absolutely vintage. With that being said, they've made sure to keep the stadium historic and simple, yet over time making renovations that kind of modernize it in a way too. So in my opinion, it perfectly balances the historic aspects of what made it special, but also improving the outside of the stadium, the looks, the glass, and even the whole area of Titletown around the stadium is incredible with a variety of breweries, really good food, and just awesome things for fan interaction. Not to mention the stadium itself has a very impressive capacity of over 81,000. An absolutely amazing stadium, and it is still standing the test of time. At number 12, we have the State Farm Stadium. Now, although it does have one of the lowest capacities in the league, it definitely makes up for it in design and practicality. Now, although the inside kind of looks like a giant warehouse, there are some really cool features. It does have a retractable roof, so some games the roof is open, some is closed. The actual field is a grass field, more specifically Bermuda grass, so it does need proper sunlight, so they actually will wheel this field outside and then inside right before game time. Nearly everything inside is just red, so it perfectly reflects the Cardinals' colors here, and it's just an impressive stadium. Placing at 11, we have the Texans' home, NRG Stadium. Now, this stadium is absolutely massive from the interior, features a retractable roof and a pretty decent outside. It's aging really well as it opened all the way back in 2002 and has been the only stadium that the Houston Texans have ever lived in as a franchise. There's definitely no need to move on from the stadium anytime soon, as it's just wonderful. We are finally entering the top 10, and starting off the top 10, we have Ford Field. Once again, I absolutely dig the outside of the stadiums being brick. It gives a nice classy feel and blends in with the city very well. Ford Field is just a really nice interior. I love the blue featured throughout the inside. The field is well maintained, and it does a great job at bouncing the sound back onto the field, and Detroit fans really know how to get that place loud. As you can see, there definitely will be an indoor stadium preference on this list moving forward. At number 9, we have the Caesars Superdome. It's absolutely insane that this stadium was built all the way back in 1975, but it's still impressive today, and it's hosting its fair share of Super Bowls in the future. The outside is absolutely impressive, as it really is just a giant dome with lights lighting up the perimeter. There maybe could be a little more design on the outside, but once again, it just looks simply amazing, and the inside is just as incredible with a beautifully maintained Saints field and the nice modern looking interior and ceiling. At number 8, we have Hard Rock Stadium. One of the more unique stadium designs that you'll see, it features a brand new canopy on the outside that looks amazing and has been used for many major events, not just Dolphins football, in recent years. The original stadium opened in 1987, but with all the renovations and including that new canopy I mentioned earlier, it pretty much is a new stadium. There's beautiful giant jumbotrons on each corner of the stadium, and I absolutely love the teal seats featured throughout. My main complaint with this stadium is that the field quality tends to be mediocre at times. There's been times where the Miami field has had many divots, holes in it, as the field doesn't seem to be completely well maintained, but with that being said, the stadium definitely delivers. Not to mention, a clever thing about the stadium is that, especially during the 1 p.m. games, the roof is angled in a way that the sun on already hot days only shines on the opposing team's sideline. So once again, kudos to the stadium designers for making a crafty yet important competitive advantage in these games. At number 7, we have Lumen Field. Now, I will forever call this CenturyLink, but in my opinion, this is the best outdoor stadium we see. Also has one of the most unique designs you'll see. Probably the main thing you think about of the stadium is the 2 giant canopies that cover both sides of the major seating areas, and that does 2 main things, which is just incredible. For one, it covers the majority of fans from the rainy weather often experienced in Seattle, but additionally, it acts as a megaphone. It perfectly bounces off sound that the fans make and just amplifies it. And this has been the case as it has even caused minor earthquakes to happen, including Marshawn Lynch's famous Beastquake, where a measured earthquake did occur due to all the fan noise. So yeah, that is in part to the diehard 12th man, the Seahawks fans, but it also is just absolutely genius stadium design. And the stadium is angled in a way that it opens up to perfectly see the skyline of Seattle. If you're sitting at multiple seats, not only do you see the Jumbotron, but also the various buildings and skyscrapers of Seattle. An absolutely amazing stadium. At number 6, we have Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, this honestly has one of my favorite exteriors out of any stadium as far as practicality goes, because it just looks like a nice building. Brickwork all along the outside with the roof, obviously, and it's definitely not an eyesore in the area. They do a good job at making it look clean. The front and back have large glass windows to let some of that natural sunlight in addition to the artificial light inside, which I think sunlight goes a long way, and it just looks really nice. Not to mention, the stadium is perfectly angled from east to west to receive more of the sunlight. The outside is amazing and the interior is just as clean. In addition, you have those giant glass windows that allow you to see Indianapolis as well from outside. An amazing stadium, one of my personal favorites. At number 5, we have the iconic Jerry World AT&T Stadium. Now, this stadium is absolutely massive. I like how it focuses a lot on natural light too. It's literally positioned east to west so that sunlight can get in, as well as having windows along the full perimeter of the upper bowls, once again just letting more natural light in. It just looks very visually pleasing from the outside too. It's definitely not an ugly stadium, as glass is one of the main features on it. Inside the stadium, you have those 2 giant twin video boards that are some of the biggest high-definition video screens in the world, and in addition, on the outside of the stadium, there's a lot of fun things for the fans to do, such as mini football fields. The whole plaza is really nice. The field is always kept really nice and is always one of the cleanest looking fields in the league, and they did an absolutely amazing job with the stadium created in 2009. Not to mention, it has the insane capacity of 80,000. At number 4, we have Allegiant Stadium, home to the Las Vegas Raiders. The giant Roomba, as some people like to call it, which it kind of does look like a Roomba from the outside. The outside really isn't that impressive compared to what is on the inside. I mean, it still looks nice and modern, with giant video screens on the outside TVs playing, which I find really cool. But the true beauty is inside the stadium. Now, some inside sections look more like a luxury hotel than a place where football is played. But with that being said, it does look absolutely stunning. The field is well maintained. Once again, they do the crafty idea of wheeling in the grass from inside and outside of the stadium, which I can appreciate. And it's some of the best kept grass in the league. I mean, the field looks like it's turf sometimes on just how well kept the grass is. In addition, you have the iconic giant torch in the very back of the stadium that lights during the game. Simply amazing. A bunch of state-of-the-art amenities like phone chargers at each seat, nice bathrooms. This stadium has everything from convenience to just overall looks, and it's simply beautiful. At number 3, earning the bronze, we have the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Just one of the examples of absolutely stunning indoor modern stadiums. Recently built in 2017, this stadium is simply amazing with a retractable roof that closes in and out in a circle shape. The only retractable roof like this in the NFL, and it's simply amazing with right below it. The ceiling looks amazing and it has a circular 360-degree Jumbotron right beneath it. In addition, plenty of windows all around the stadium, plenty of natural light. There's that iconic Falcon statue in front of the stadium, which looks amazing as well. And it's also one of the bigger indoor stadiums as well, seating up to 71,000 people. So when you're sitting in it, you're just taking it all in, and you can just truly see how massive the stadium is. Coming in at number 2, just missing out on the best stadium in the league, we have US Bank Stadium. Home of the Vikings, this stadium design is absolutely state-of-the-art. Featured right inside of Minnesota, this stadium has some very impressive architecture. The design is meant to kind of resemble the bow of a Viking ship, but in addition to that shape, it also helps the stadium with the slanted design to endure heavy snow loads, which happen frequently in Minnesota. Now, obviously, it would be cool if this somehow was an outdoor stadium due to how much it snows in Minnesota, but sadly, the state of Minnesota would only fund the stadium if it was indoor. With that being said, they definitely made the best use of it, as the inside of the stadium is amazing. Once again, I'm a sucker for these nice modern indoor stadiums with a lot of glass, letting that natural light in, as well as giving a good view of the city out. And that is exactly what they do here. The inside of the stadium is absolutely spectacular too, a beautiful layered bowl design. And even just standing at the entrance of the stadium, you look right into the glass and the seats are pretty much right there. If you look at some pictures of the interior, it's just really nice seeing the large video board, and then right behind it, you see the skyline of Minnesota. Simply brilliant, beautiful crafted, and that's why it's at number 2. But at number 1, the greatest stadium in the NFL, we have SoFi Stadium. Now, oh, you might be saying it's the newest stadium, that's why he put it at number 1. I mean, kind of. The reason it's so good is because of all the new modern technologies used to create this, all the innovation linked with it. If it wasn't new, it wouldn't have these state-of-the-art designs like that amazing 360-degree video board in the center. One of the best video boards worldwide, and has state-of-the-art amenities at every single individual seat. A very spacious concourse throughout the stadium. It never feels packed. You will never feel crammed at SoFi Stadium with just how expansive it is. And arguably the most impressive thing about the stadium is the campus around it. Palm trees surround the exterior, but also kind of leak into the interior as well. It's a really nature-based stadium. There's the man-made body of water right outside that looks absolutely amazing with the SoFi Stadium logo right there as well. Sunlight coming in from all sides of the stadium, as well as the roof, which is all these translucent glass panes, which look simply amazing. And the actual structure that covers the stadium, only half of it is covering the stadium. If you look at outside pictures, you'll know what I mean, as you see that giant covering with all these pillars supporting it. Part of that is literally just a walking area, like a giant plaza, and the stadium only takes up the back corner of it. It pretty much is an entire ecosystem in that area. It's so impressive. It's not even really a stadium anymore. It's kind of just like an entire complex. The technologies used are simply amazing. The outside is amazing as well. Everything is state of the art, and this place glows up at nighttime as well. And with all these aspects considered, SoFi Stadium is the best stadium in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, if you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and look at other channel content. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy those videos as well. Make sure to put your stadium rankings, or maybe just even your top 5, or just your favorite stadium, in the comment section below. Like I said, I love seeing what my viewers have to say, and I also love hearting your comments, reacting to them, replying back. So anything in the comments, make sure to put it down there, and I will see you guys in the next Heaps video.